Hey guys, so I love the Eco Brush because they've thought about the product right from how it's made all the way through to the end of its life cycle, including the packaging, and that's why we're proud to have them on as sponsors for this season's podcast of Eco Me and Eco You.
Welcome to Eco Me and Eco You.
Proudly brought to you by the Eco Brush.
So Matt also wanted me to mention, so yesterday he was wearing his Allbirds and I was wearing, I'm not sure if you've seen, I have like docks that are really high. It's not the ones I'm wearing today, but they're called creepers. It's the style and their sole's very high. So I end up being quite tall, but I also stomp around a bunch. So yesterday we met, we met Sarah and Sam, who you know. We met them in the viaduct for dinner and drinks.
Yeah.
And it was raining and I was like walking along and Matt's like, I was purposely avoiding the puddles, and he's like, and then Nikola comes along and it's like she's deliberately trying to splash me. I'm like, no, I just like stomp around in those shoes. I wasn't purposely, but he was like so upset. He's like, they're gonna shrink now and you've ruined my Allbirds.
Cute. They won't ruin your Allbirds.
No, but he got home and he put like the things in them and put them in a hot water cupboard so they didn't shrink. He loves those shoes, which is good.
So cute.
Yeah.
That's real cute. Well, they're designed to be put in the washing machine, you know that, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nicola's stomping around and splashing some puddle water on his shoes are going to be fine.
Do you hear that, Matt? It's fine.
Just for you, Matt.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's all Jay-Z. Yeah, so hi guys. Welcome to episode 12 of season 2.
Yeah.
Which is our final podcast for the season. Yeah.
And then kind of after this episode, we're going to have a break, and then we haven't really we'll be coming back not in the new year, maybe we're talking about March or April. Yeah. But we'll make sure we share that.
Yeah. So we are going to be rebranding.
Yes, we are. Yeah. We're currently in the brainstorming phase of a new name. So if you have any name ideas, feel free to send them to us, because I'd be more than happy to.
Yeah, it's a hard process giving yourself a name.
Yeah, it really is, because you want to like have something that encompasses like your thing, but then obviously you don't want to have like a super long-winded title. Yeah. So we'll be rebranding. So we won't be Eco You and Eco Me anymore, but we will be something else.
We'll be something else. And I think, we're going to try and look at doing things like, we're kind of at the point where we've discussed quite a lot of topics and we're like, what can we do next? And like kind of like a new branch of what the podcast could look like. So we're looking at doing maybe some more interviews.
Yeah.
With some eco people that you probably quite well know around New Zealand. And I don't know, I think we've got to brainstorm early next year to kind of think about
that out.
But stay tuned.
So today's episode was kind of just going to be like us talking about what's happened since like us first starting this podcast a year and a half ago, and what's been our top podcasts and what we've felt we've done really well, and maybe things we haven't done so well this year. And then also like what's been happening around the world as well. Yeah,
some like the bigger news stories that have been quite a big deal for us, I guess. Yeah, so a bit of like a reflection of where we are today. I can't believe we started the podcast a year and a half ago.
I know, it's crazy, eh?
It's so crazy.
I feel like time's just like flown by.
Yeah. Cool. So should we recap on how we started?
Yeah, let's recap. So how did we start?
Well, it all started by having the conversation.
Yeah.
So like Nick and I always would get together and kind of chat about the environment and sustainability, and we would always have these really intense conversations. We were like, I think our friends would get annoyed with us because like even if we're in big groups, we'd probably always have this like really in-depth conversations around the environment. And
even about like equality and like all the stuff happening, and it would get like really deep.
Yeah.
And maybe not conversations everyone wants to have, like over a glass or over dinner,
over a beer.
yeah
or casual like pre-pottery meals at the casual Japanese restaurant. And then I think it actually started because it all started because of a menstrual cup, really.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so I didn't have my period. If you listen to, I think, one of our podcasts earlier this year, I talk about in more detail why I didn't have a period. I didn't have a period, and I was like, Nick, you need to try a menstrual cup for me so I can interview you and write a blog post. And the conversation, because I recorded it all on my phone, like voice recorded it.
Yeah.
And it was just so good. And we kind of talked about doing a podcast anyway. We kind of like toyed with the idea.
Yeah, we're like, oh yeah, it'd be like fun to do a podcast, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And then like you recording that and then like us listening to it, I'm like, oh yeah, like this, like there's something here that I think we could like actually do something with.
Yeah.
And this has kind of always been on my bucket list to do a podcast. I don't know. I have like a weird fascination with like, I don't know, with podcasts and how they work. And
well, I think podcasts are quite, like, for me, podcasts are really easy to do because I'm really not very good at writing. Well, I think I'm good at writing. I just don't enjoy writing, and my spelling and grammar is shit.
Yes.
And this is a better way to kind of voice things without having to spend 3 hours writing the blog post.
Yeah. Well, it's like people that like, I'm not like, because I'm mildly dyslexic and like I'm like so visually dominant, like to my detriment, that like me writing things down, I'm not very good, but I'm able to articulate. So I think that's what like kind of draws me to podcasts, is that like, especially it's such an easy medium to digest as well, that like you can kind of like be doing other things and kind of like getting educated about like other subjects and stuff. I really enjoy learning a bunch of stuff, and I found podcasts a really easy way to do that.
That's good. Nice. So we started the podcast, and here we are today.
Yeah.
A year and a half later. Yeah. Recapping and reflecting on how things have gone.
Yeah.
So do you want to do like maybe just kind of give your year like a bit of an overview of like maybe where you were in the beginning and where you are now, and kind of like how you see yourself now over the year, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, how do I start the year? Well, I like a lot of like big things happened to me at the start of the year where I like had surgery and stuff like heart surgery, so that was like big. And then like through the year, I think, well, I've gone more vegetarian, so I consider myself almost a flexitarian now. So more than like half, if not most of our week is like vegetarian meals. Like we still have meat, but it's not nearly as much as we were before. Like we'll be most of our dinners will be vegetarian,
and that itself makes such a massive difference.
And like I've tried to definitely be more conscious about if I am having meat, or like being more conscious about the meat I'm choosing. Like I might choose like chicken instead of like beef and stuff like that. And I think I've gotten more courageous about like talking to people about stuff. Like I think another year of getting older, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start like not pulling people up, but having like the conversations about things, and not letting things necessarily slide as much as I have. Which has been good.
You've probably just become more confident in where you are in your journey, and like you've got enough knowledge now to be able to actually call people up. Like Nick was telling me a story this morning about at work how she's just kind of like, she put her foot down basically and was hard out debating. I'm trying to do it without giving away too much information. Like just making sure that they're like legitimately selling something as an eco-friendly product.
And like trying to make people aware of like how a customer would perceive something, or like making sure that they have the whole picture before they are like moving forward with what like they decide to do.
Trying to do it at 100% rather than like, oh yeah, this product here is eco-friendly, done. Without like, you gotta, because it's always been like that for me, is like kind of giving the customer the whole information about the product and as much information about the product as possible, and how you can dispose of it at the end of its life cycle.
So yeah, I'm definitely having more questions about it, and it's like definitely with my family. I think my sister has gone more vegetarian as well, and my mum's trying to be a bit more. So like we're having a lot more of those conversations, which is really good.
Yeah.
And kind of talking to each other about stuff. And what else? What else did I put in? Oh yeah, I've started doing plastic-free toilet paper. So getting smart-ass toilet paper.
Nice.
So that's really good. I need to actually order some more. But that's been really good. It's lasted us for ages.
It does last a really long time.
The big box.
It's 48 rolls, right?
Yeah, something ridiculous like that. It lasted us for ages. We are only 2 people though. So I suppose if you had more people in your house, it would be more. But like, I think it lasted us like, I feel like almost like 6 months. It's crazy. Wow,
that's a really long time. It's they normally do like 16, 18 weeks, I think, for 2 people. But if you guys aren't home during the day, that's way less. And if you have like less people over and you're away lots, you use less again.
And what else have I got on here? And I've done
my... Don't give it all away yet. We're going to go get that.
Way.
This is just like a general overview.
Yeah, I think I've just become a better... No, I've just become a better person, guys. No, I think I've also become a lot more aware of like my faults as well. Like I think... and also acknowledging that I'm not necessarily the best at some things, but being self-aware of that and then trying to improve it.
Yeah, that's quite a big thing on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no,
well done.
That's kind of me. What about you, Crystal?
Cool. It's been an interesting year for me as well. Like I've had a lot of stuff going on. So I had that LETS procedure done earlier this year. Yeah. I've lost 2 grandparents this year. And I've had 3 months of chronic hip pain. So it's definitely been harder to live my normal sustainable lifestyle. Like I've been more relaxed, and I guess just I care less. When you're in so much pain, like the effort sometimes just I can't do it. So we have been buying more things in packaging, unfortunately, and I've been really naughty, like getting ice creams. Like if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, I just want ice cream, because that's always been like my comfort thing. So I've been naughty and going up to the service station behind us and buying an ice cream. I do wash out the packets and put them in soft plastic packaging.
That's good.
But yeah, and I guess there was something else. What was it? I've been trying to eat more gluten free in the last sort of like 3 to 4 months. Yeah. Which I have noticed a huge difference in how I feel. And like gut health, I guess. And it's actually really hard to buy bread, like, or gluten-free stuff not in packaging.
Well, yeah, because that's how they kind of guarantee that it's gluten-free, right?
Yeah, if you're like celiac or something, you've kind of got to have that security of non-contamination. Yeah. And that's something that I guess you kind of have to learn, that you can't win everything, and sometimes things like your health outweighs your waste. If you know. Well,
yeah. And like we were talking about before, and I think like you've gotten to a point where like your sustainable living is like quite normal for you. Yeah. And that's like maybe you feel like because you're like putting less, it's not like you're putting less effort to put in, but it's because it's become habit for you, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like it feels like really normal and like kind of easy, I guess. So maybe when I probably actually living, like I'm living really sustainably in comparison to a lot of other people in the world, but I feel like I'm not doing that well. But that's maybe because there's less effort involved now, because I am in such a, I've got my life sort of organized. Yeah. It's interesting.
It is interesting.
Because Simon was like, why do you feel like that?
Yeah.
Like he obviously feels like we're in quite a good place. But I do feel like, and I guess this comes down to like not really posting much on social media. It's like I feel like I'm repeating myself, and because like I haven't been really doing anything new and sense of living more sustainably, because I feel like I'm in like that little comfort zone of I'm happy where we are. There's not much, like there's not too much more to do. Well, there probably is loads of things to do, but can't do everything.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, eh?
Yeah. Very interesting.
But
I'm looking forward to 2020. I'm going to hope that it's a better year.
Me too. I feel like I've talked to people, like I've had like a pretty good 2019. Like, yeah, there's been shit bits, but I feel like I've talked to other people and they're like, yeah, I'm ready for 2019 to end and move on.
Yeah.
I think because also, well, like you've had a lot of stuff happen to you this year, which has been shit. But I think also because it's been like so much like news heavy and like there's a lot of things happening and like a lot of protests and a lot of like encouragement to change and like trying to push like big companies and governments to change. Like I think that's also made people feel like very exhausted from 2019.
I guess that's really true. Like, I feel like we've been fighting way more this year.
Yes.
Like voice wise.
Yeah, which has been awesome. Like the activation of like people, especially like the like younger generation, like how activists, like it's really motivating, like seeing like people in high school and like primary school like going out there and like saying like we need to change and waking more people up to like what's happening. Like it's
absolutely,
it's really encouraging.
It's so empowering and inspiring. And they're fighting for their future. Like they shouldn't have to fight for their future.
No,
we should be, well, the generation that is in power should be fighting for their grandkids.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, it's going to be interesting times, I reckon, the next few years, as like especially more millennials are coming into more power within companies and government, and seeing how that's going to like impact and change the like climate we live in.
And I think businesses realizing that they actually have to make those sustainable changes and they have to be ethical in their business practices. Otherwise, they are not going to be around in the next 5 to 10 years. It's easy. It's so simple, and I've been saying that for years. Cool. So that's like the general overview of our years. What we kind of, I guess, maybe sort of dipped into it, but what are your top changes of the year? So like what things have you changed in your life that are memorable for you?
Well, definitely eating less meat, like I've said before, we've like changed meat, but then also having the conversations with people about like, oh, we've gone more vegetarian, and talking to people why that is, and encouraging other people to make that change or like talk to them about it, because like I've said before on previous podcasts, like I used to eat like a lot. I still like
T-Rex, meat. I believe you quoted yourself as.
People call me like a T-Rex, which is like should give you an inkling of how much I like meat.
You're a meat eater.
So I'm like if I can do it, like surely like someone else that I'm talking to can do maybe a couple of nights a week where they go vegetarian. It's not like I'm asking people to go like full hog.
Yeah, exactly.
But so it's
small change.
And it's just like encouraging people to make those changes, which is cool. Trying to be like with toilet paper and stuff that I'm buying somewhat regularly, like trying to find the more sustainable option for that. What else? Oh yeah, I did the 100-day like drawing project where I did like a sustainable fact for drawing a sustainable fact for 100 days, which was really good because it made me like more conscious of other things that I'd maybe not realized, like just broadened my my subject matter on what I kind of knew about, or like realizing like certain facts. Like it was really cool. What else? More conversations. Like it's been good. And it's like one thing, like I've changed, I've gone to the eco store shampoo and conditioner. Because I found like the soaps for me like weren't really working with my hair being treated. So I've gone to eco because I was kind of like, I tried to give it a go for a really long time, and it worked for like the starting bit.
Yeah.
And then like my hair's like, it was just like very dry, and I'm like, oh, I think I need to go back to like a shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah.
So I've gone to Eco Store, which I quite like. I don't know.
You can refill that.
Yeah, and you can refill that. So I was like, oh, like I don't want to go back to like salon like conditioner and shampoo.
So expensive.
Yeah, it's so expensive, and it's not necessarily like the best option sustainability wise. So I was like, oh, I'll give Eco Store a go. But yeah, so far it's been a couple of weeks and my hair's liking it, so
that's good. I found that the Eco Store was the only kind of shampoo and conditioner that you could buy like readily that worked, that was natural.
Yeah,
I tried a few and they were just like, ugh.
Yeah, so I think Matt will still like, he still quite likes the soaps, the bars, so I think he'll still do that, and then I'll just do the Eco Store.
Yeah, that's the opposite. So I use the bars and Simon uses the Eco Store stuff. It's funny.
Yeah. What about you, Crystal? What about you?
What about me?
Yeah.
Whew. So again, like eating less meat, like even though I feel like I've kind of eaten a bit more meat in the last sort of few months, I do feel like I've got into a really good routine and habit of eating less meat. And like in takeaways, like, or eating out, I'll actually eat less meat options now.
Yeah.
Or not eating beef. Like if you're going to eat meat, not eat beef and eat chicken instead, because that's got lesser impact than a cow. Op shopping. Yeah, so that's something that I've always kind of struggled doing, and I'm like, I need to get into op shopping. And this year, like, I've really gotten into it, and I've kind of changed my style a little bit to kind of suit op shopping, but that's kind of happened naturally. I bought way more clothes this year than I did the year before, because I don't feel guilty buying stuff from an op shop, and if I find something in an op shop that I like and it fits me, I just tend to kind of just buy it.
Yeah.
I haven't bought too much, but more than normal. I did my first protest this year.
Yeah, you did.
The climate change march, which was pretty cool. I'm not like happy to have the conversation with people, but I'm not much of an activist in a sense, I guess. So that was quite cool. That was actually just after I hurt my hip. So like that was like the first day I'd gone out after I hurt my hip. Yeah. And I was very sore the next day. I think actually my most favorite and my biggest highlight for the year is that I finally got to use period products. Yeah. It seems so stupid, but honestly so freaking excited. So yeah, I've used menstrual cups, reusable pads, and period underwear this year, and I love it. I love it so much. It's so weird. I still get excited about getting my period. Like, yeah, period undies and menstrual cups. And actually something that happened really recently to me involving my brother was actually quite special, and it made me realize that what I am doing is totally worth it. So my brother, when I first started my journey, thought I was crazy, like gave me so much shit, wouldn't have a bar of it. And then just after Papa passed away, got a bit boozed, or he got a bit boozed, and I was like saying goodbye because I was off the next day. He gave me a big hug and he's like, I try. I'm like, you try what? He's like, I try to reduce my plastic. He's like, you rub off on me. And I was just like, that's so special. Like for me, that is definitely like a huge highlight, of seeing what I'm getting emotional about it. It's so weird how like seeing other people change because of how I live my life. Yeah.
No, yeah, it is like, it is very empowering, because it shows that like you having those conversations and you making those changes is actually making a difference to other people, not just what your direct impact is to the environment, but what like you having like talking and showing people your journey is actually encouraging other people to make change. And
just keep having that conversation with people and keep being you, even though the people around you don't necessarily understand or see why you're doing what it is that you're doing. Like it might just take a while to happen. No,
it is good to see. Definitely.
It's also like kind of totally validated and made all the sacrifices that I've made over the last few years to quit my paying job to not paying job worth it, because it was always about, I don't care about the money, I care about making a difference. And so it just kind of proves that what I am doing is making a difference. And that's a big enough paycheck in itself for me. Sorry.
No, you're right.
It's telling me how to hold the mic when I'm getting really emotional.
Yeah, I know. Well, you were just like, I don't know what you're doing, but you were like turning it. And I'm like,
I turning it around so bad.
No, you're right.
It's because Nick took away my stand, so I have to hold the mic now.
I know. Don't worry. And the new year, I'll get you a new stand.
Get me a new stand and a new booth.
New booth, yeah.
So I've got fails down as a point, but I think we kind of...
Yeah, we kind of like talked about it. Like, I think I've tried to be like very conscious of like the stuff I am doing, if I am doing it wrong. Like, not wrong, but like maybe not the more, like acknowledging like that's happening and thinking about like maybe changing, or because it's like you're not perfect. And I think it's like acknowledging that and not giving yourself a super hard time is really hard, especially when you're like having all these conversations with people and then you go and you do something that's not like as sustainable. You're like, oh, it's like, what right do I have to tell people that they should change when I can't do this thing? But it's like you have flaws, and it's like you just have to acknowledge that they're actually there and think about them. Like, if you're being conscious of that decision and acknowledging that that's happening and not ignoring. Absolutely. And it's really, I think, really important not to criticize people and what they do and don't do, because we might be really good in some areas and other people better in other areas. Yeah, exactly. It's like doing a little bit of everything or doing what you can is a big, huge tick and a pat on the back. Yeah, I think it's definitely... you can look at it as like very singular, but like I think it shows that it's like a team effort. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I still get people like friends and stuff, they'll be like, oh sorry Crystal, like I brought some plastic packaging. I'm like, it's fine, like you don't need to apologize to me, like it's okay, like I'm not gonna ridicule you for doing it because I get stuff in plastic packaging too. But you know, cool. Okay. So, as we've done in the past, we've done like news stories and stuff. So, what do you think have been some of the biggest changes of the year that have happened like in the news or like worldwide? Well, definitely like it happened this year where New Zealand banned plastic bags. And that's definitely been a huge change for New Zealand. I think people are still getting their head around it in some cases, but like it's been a good change. Yeah, I saw somewhere there was like 40,000, might have been 60,000 like breaches of the law or something when it comes to plastic bags, but there's no penalties have been put in place. Anyway, I had a conversation with the guy at the airport because he's like, oh, do you want a bag? I'm like, definitely not. And then he had one of those, it was like the 70 micron plastic bags. I'm like, I'm pretty sure these are banned. Yeah. And he's like, nah, like they're legit, blah, blah, blah. We had to change them. And he like showed me the little sign with all the information. And I was like, okay. But like it was a plastic bag. Yeah. Aren't they looking at amending it slightly? So then... Oh, really? I think I saw something recently where they were talking about adding stuff into that ban. Okay, that'll be quite cool. Yeah, that would be quite cool. I'm going to look that up later because that'll be interesting. The other thing that they've actually recently announced is they're going to look at banning cotton earbuds, plastic cutlery, and coffee cups. I think, is that right? Yes, I think so, yeah. Yeah, I didn't look into it in too much detail, but I need to do that. That's quite recent. I think for me, one of the biggest positive changes is that New Zealand government have agreed a framework for the whole government that basically any decision made has got the climate change policy involved. Yeah, that's cool.
which is really cool. Like, so it's like every decision is like, how does it affect climate change? Like, pretty cool. And like, obviously, like reducing their carbon emissions.
Yeah. No, it's good because it means that like the right questions are being asked when policies are being when stuff's being put in place.
But it also means that the government is listening to us.
Yes. Yeah, it shows that like us voicing that we want change has actually directly affected what's happening in government and stuff like that. Yeah.
So it means that your choices to reduce your climate change, reduce plastic, or everything that you've done, like your voice actually does have a matter, and your changes make a difference.
Yeah.
So keep doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is like, this is like just a little token one, is that so use your own café directory. Set up. Use your own cup day. We did the first one on the 11th of December.
Yeah, I saw that, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to take a photo of my cup, and then I completely forgot, and the day went past. I'm like, oh, next time.
Yeah, like even though like it's actually quite a big thing now, people still using their own cup, there's still a lot of people that aren't, and I think having a day like that just to celebrate like one little change is quite cool. So I look forward to that happening next year. Yeah, though if we're banning them, then might not need to do it again.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah. Is that all your big changes?
Is that all my big changes? Yeah, kind of. It was kind of hard for me to think of what I'd change, just because I feel like a lot of stuff has like happened this year, so it's hard to pick up. And I think it's the same with you. It kind of becomes very normal, so it's hard to actually like realize, oh yeah, I did change that thing this year. Yeah. I don't know what else. What else have I been doing? I don't know. I've tried to find what I have kind of failed at this year is trying to find a sunblock.
Oh. Yeah. I'm using one at the moment. So really interesting article on Ethique about how natural sunscreen's actually also not good for the environment and the sea life. Yeah. And it's best just to cover up or not to rub, like touch yourself too much when you're in the water so it comes off.
Oh, yeah.
I'm using Soul Zinc, which is in a big glass pot, and it's 200 grams, so it's like a family pot. I've only used it once or twice, so I can't give any feedback on that. But it's definitely hard in New Zealand because they've got that consumer report with different sunscreens. And like a lot of the ones that you think have come back legit have not come back legit. And like little ones, like they can just be like natural ones can actually be really expensive.
Yes, yeah. Especially because like at the moment, because it's now summer in New Zealand, it's a lot sunnier and I burn like a lobster. I've been putting sunblock on like not every day, but definitely most days, if not every day. Like today, I put on sunblock to come here because I'm like, it's like definitely sunny outside. Like if I was at work and I knew I was going to be inside for most of the day, then I might not put it on my body, but I'll still put some kind of SPF on my face. Yeah,
that's interesting. I like never wear sunscreen unless like I know I'm going to be out in the sun for a really long period of time, like if I'm at the beach, and it's normally I put it on after I'm at the beach.
See, I knew that we were going to go walk for coffee, so I was like
5 minutes up the road.
That's honestly 10 minutes is all it takes me to get burnt. Like it's really bad.
That is quite bad. So yeah, you need to wear sunscreen. Or you have to cover up all the time.
And I have to, like, obviously because I'm covering up a lot means that I like end up using a bit of sunscreen, but then I also have to have sunscreen that works and all that jazz. So it's just been hard.
A hard one, okay then, well, shall we wrap it up with listing a couple of our favorite podcasts? So if you haven't listened to all of our podcasts yet, this is going to be a list of our favorites. So I have my top 3.
I have,
and I think we've got some the same.
I think we have some the same too. I've got 2.
Okay, I have 3.
All right.
So one of my favorite podcasts is the interview with Matt. So that's episode 9 of season 2, where it's the eco guy one. So we just kind of interview him on eco living as from a male perspective, and how like eco living is such a female dominated sort of like movement, I guess.
Yeah, and I think I definitely liked that episode because it made me a lot more aware that like my experience is a lot different from what Matt's, and some things is a lot different from what Matt experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, that whole like male toxicity environment and like the macho male thing. Yeah, it's interesting now, like how that is such a thing still.
Yeah,
I guess it's the same thing with like gender equality.
Yeah, and just like equality. It's interesting because you're like, oh yeah, no, it's so, and then something happens. You're like, oh wait, hold on, it hasn't come as far as what you think it has.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that was one of your ones, right?
No, it wasn't one of my ones.
Okay.
It is one of the ones I quite like.
Yeah.
But I knew you'd put it down, so I didn't.
So what else is on your list?
The one on my list is traveling more sustainably.
Traveling more sustainably.
Yes, thank you.
I had that down actually as one of my top 3.
Which is episode 10 of season 2, right?
No, season 1.
Season 1. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry guys. So season 1, episode 10 is basically we talk about, because it was the first time I had travelled since being more sustainable, and we'd gone to Rarotonga, and then Crystal had also just gone to Rarotonga.
Was it? That's season 2 then.
Is it?
No, this is a different one.
Oh, is it a different one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I like the one where
we talk about Rarotonga.
Which episode is that?
Let me have a look,
hold on. 1 second.
Wait, I'm looking at season 1. Yeah, that was like season 1, episode 10 in February this year.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
Which one did we talk about Rarotonga then? Because we definitely did talk about that.
We did definitely talk about that.
Sorry, guys. We would try to be really organized, and now we're unorganized.
Oh my god.
Maybe it was just news and other things. It must have been just in conjunction with another podcast.
It must have been. Well, you're just going to have to listen to all the podcasts of season 2.
But the travel one from last year was quite good, I thought.
Yes, it was also quite good.
Yeah. And it like little tips about like being on a plane as well, and like how you can be on a plane more sustainably.
Yeah.
Like by like not getting food, taking like warm enough clothes so you don't have to have the blankets and like the headphones and stuff.
Yeah,
little
just
things like that.
Yeah, little steps that you can do to be a bit more sustainable when you travel.
Yeah. So that was your top 2. My last one I've got is all the period.
I only said my one. I've got being sustainability at work, which is season 2, episode 5. Because we talked about Matt's episode, and then you asked me my top,
sorry.
and then you just wanted to get onto your one.
Sorry. But we're alternating, so I did one, you did one, and then we come back to me.
All
and
right,
then we end on
Crystal,
you.
what's...
I love you, really.
Yeah, I know you do. Okay, well, what's one of your top... what's one of your other ones?
So all the period podcast talks.
Yeah.
I love talking about periods.
Me too. I like having that conversation because I feel like it doesn't get had enough, especially in New Zealand. I feel like it's definitely becoming more normalized, but it's still kind of not talked about as much. When it happens to like a lot of people every month.
It happens to most females every month.
Yeah, most females every month.
So I think that's over half the population, right?
Yeah.
We're like more female than males in New Zealand. I feel like that's the thing because we're the superior species. But anyway.
just lagging on genders today.
I know. But it's just because, like, you know, we've got, like, women have had such a bad rap and get, like, the short end of the stick all the time. So, like, but, like, you know, we do so much, and I do feel like we need more credit in the world.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, all period chat. We need to have the conversation more anyway for it to become less of a taboo to talk about and to help end period poverty.
Yeah.
Like, we were here the other day for a little get together, and there was like 4 girls and 5 guys, and I was just like totally started talking about periods.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one friend had gone out and come back, and they're like, "Oh, you missed the period chat." I'm like, he's like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Well, do you want to catch up?" I was like, "I'll talk about periods with you again."
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking actually how much you pee versus how much you bleed, and if period underwear would be able to hold your pee if you peed in them.
I mean,
it's
interesting
definitely
chat.
very different volumes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and then what's your last one on the list?
So my last one on my list is season 2, episode 5, which is being more sustainable in the workplace, which I find quite good because for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people work in big offices and even small offices. It could be applied anywhere. Just being how you can be a bit more sustainable at work. Yeah,
I think it's a really good one because it's a really good way to encourage other people to live more sustainably. And, you know, in your home is quite a small impact, where if you have like an office of 1,000 people, like that's quite a much larger impact. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. This is the episode where we also talk about our trips to Rarotonga.
In the workplace.
So, guys, this is my favorite episode of season
of
2, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it was just good because it kind of, it's just a few things you can do in your office to be more sustainable. And yes, Crystal's right, like when your co-workers see you making like sustainable changes, like it definitely encourages other people to make those changes or have those conversations.
Yeah, it rubs off.
Yeah. And did you have a last favorite one, or you've done all yours now?
No, because my last one was the travel one.
Oh, yeah.
So we both like have interview with Matt, and travel one's clearly a favorite between the two of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we tried to liaise it so we
didn't have all the same
ones. Because I do really like the sustainability in the workplace one as well.
Yeah. And I always enjoy period chat because it usually it talks about like period poverty, and like then it sometimes goes towards like feminism and equality, and I'm all about that.
So speaking of that, I watched the 2040 documentary, and one of the ways that we could solve climate change with stuff that's currently available is gender equality. And I thought that was extremely fascinating.
Yeah, that is really interesting.
But it just sort of kind of shows you that everything kind of impacts one another, and it's like the whole sustainable development goals and how they all kind of interact. There's 17 of them, but they all interact together, and one of these helps the other one. And this is quite an interesting dynamic, and that's, I guess, why we try to do things a little bit everywhere.
Yes, yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
I think that's all, folks.
To be honest. Well, I just want to say thanks for listening. And if you've been around a while, thank you. And if you're kind of new to us, thank you for listening as well. Like it really, it's really nice to hear when people listen to our podcast and we don't feel like we're like shouting into the void. Yeah. So thanks for sticking around and looking forward to next season. Hopefully we have some like new bit of a change up for good, bit more excitement in our podcasts. So I just want to say thanks and keep it up. Like we've talked about before, like you doing little changes like makes a change. Like, and we've seen that especially like this year. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Nick basically summed it all up. So just you do you. Yeah. Keep fighting the good fight. Yeah. And have an amazing holiday period. Yeah. Regardless of what you're doing or if you celebrate Christmas or not. Yeah. exactly.
And thank you so much for following and listening. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Well, where can people find you, Crystal?
Cool. So you can find me over on Instagram and Facebook at the Eco Society. You can also check out our website where all our blog posts, podcasts. I haven't done a blog post in a really long time. But all our podcasts are there as well. And you can find my email, contact us through there as well.
Yeah.
And where can we find you, Nikola?
You can find me on Instagram at _Nick_Nack. Oh my gosh, I have so much trouble every time.
No, but you nailed it that time.
I know, I did nail it that time.
But you just always look at me like, am I doing it right? We should write it down and have like a big piece of paper in front of me.
So you can find me on there. Like we always say, we're always if you want to chat or just talk to someone else, like we're always available. Yeah, so feel free to contact us.
Join our Facebook group chat.
Yep.
And have a chat with us there.
Yeah, that's called Eco Us
chat
on
podcast
Facebook.
Chat. There's a link below.
Yeah, it's linked below.
And you can email us as well if you want to be more anonymous.
Yeah, so our email is also, at the moment, it's ecou and ecome@gmail.com. But we'll...
Ecome and ecou.
Ecome and ecou. That's what I said, wasn't it?
You said ecou and ecome.
Oh, sorry.
But I realised that I actually had it round that way for so long. And it probably is still like that in some places.
So even if if you're listening to this and you've noticed we've changed our names, like that email address is still going to be active, so still feel free to email through to us. Cool. All right, awesome. Well, thanks guys.
See you next season.
See you next season. Bye.